What's going on, guys? Andrews here with another video for you. Today we're going to take a look at the Global Labs patch notes. I'm a little late on this one. I'm sorry about that. It's been a little bit busy. But we're just going to go over a couple of things of the Global Labs patch notes. There's a much broader amount of things happening to a lot of classes, so I'll have that in the comment down below. But we're going to focus mainly on the Guardian nerf because a lot of people are kind of misunderstanding what this nerf is. Yes, it is technically still a nerf, and Guardian damage ratio has been reduced by an average of 7.6%. Now, this does not mean that Guardian is doing 8% less damage than what you do right now on live servers, because this is 8% reduction compared to last week, which saw Guardian having an increase of about 6.3% on average. So overall, you have a 1.3% decrease of damage for Guardian. Doesn't seem like a lot, right? So 1% average damage across all classes. Of course, you have to look specifically at a class-to-class matchup. So we're going to look at two classes, Berserker and Archer. So on live servers right now, Guardians deal 86% of their damage to Berserkers. Okay? Now, after this change, which will be coming in about 2 weeks, because it's coming out this week for Korea, so we'll get it the next week. So in about 2 weeks, we should be seeing Guardians doing 95% of their damage to Berserkers. So that is still a 9% increase of damage against Berserkers. Now, before you say that's not fair, Berserkers, I believe, now on some skills deal 40% more damage against Guardians. So just to give you an idea of what the percentages are like on other classes. Let's also look at Archer, because Archer was a very interesting one that I found. So Archer, Guardians dealt 122% damage against Archer right now on live. That's why you melt Archers when you reach them. After this patch, you're going to deal 100%. So that's a 22% decrease of damage against Archers. And now Archers are dealing more damage against you. Overall, every single class is, for the most part, going to have more damage received from pretty much everyone. So what does this mean? I think it's going to be harder to reach Archers with high AP. But Archers are inherently very squishy. So I don't think the fact that you're losing 22% damage as a Guardian will really matter in terms of how many skills it's going to take you to kill an Archer. Just because Archer is just such a squishy class in general, like DP basically does not exist for that class. So 22%, again, it's a number that seems big, but in practice might not actually be a big deal. So that's basically the Guardian change in a nutshell. This is the biggest one for in terms of damage ratio. Again, they said that the reason that they looked at Guardian again was because they had a lot of questions and suggestions from many adventurers. This basically means that they got a lot of feedback from players angry about Guardian receiving even more damage when it's just not fair. I agree, Guardian should not be receiving more damage, but in the grand scheme of things, 1% less damage when everything else is already taking more damage is not really going to make or break Guardian. The one thing that would maybe be a huge nerf would be reduction of protection for that class, because that would be kind of killer, I think, for that class. There is one more other change I'll talk about before we move on, and that's Claw Reveal. So Claw Reveal is a pre-awaken ult. It's also a succession ult for Guardian. It does a lot of damage. It even does damage on pre-awakened. So if you're a Guardian Awakening, you can still use it and deal some hefty damage. In Succession, it's absolutely broken. So I figured one day we'll see a damage reduction for it. So here it is, 30% nerf reduction of the damage on the Claw Reveal in pre-awakened, and 40% less damage in the Black Spirit Rage version of it in Succession. So this is the ultimate version. Has 30 to 40% less damage, and with a little bit more less damage on some classes, you might not be able to as effectively use this. Maybe it might affect sieges more than Node Wars or normal PvP, because again, like I said, a lot of classes are going to be taking more damage in general for most classes. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I think it was a deserved nerf. We'll see exactly how bad it is to use that ult. I have a couple clips already with the pre-nerf ult, and then I'll have some more clips after the ult gets nerfed, and we can see the difference. A lot of other classes, we'll talk about Archer actually, because this is pretty interesting. A lot of Archers who knew about test server knew that on test server, Archer doesn't have an S block. So you can't actually S block on test server as an Archer. Now that's gone. They gave back Archer an S block on Global Labs. So this basically is not going to be a change that you'll be seeing, because you as a player on live servers already have S block as an Archer. You're able to block as you move backwards, in case you don't know what S block is. This is a good thing. It basically means that you will never lose S block as an Archer. They decided against it, and it made sense to keep S block on an Archer. Now all we need is for Berserker to get back click to move on test server, so that way Berserkers on live servers don't ever have to worry about click to move going away for their class. There were some launch changes in terms of skill animations and all that. Same thing for Mystic and Striker. Witch and Wizard have a little bit better in terms of verticality not being as much of a problem when they're trying to use certain skills. So Blizzard, like damage skills. Hopefully this also means for protected area, because sometimes protected area doesn't even hit your teammate if they're on the other side of a rock, or there's a little small rock in between your teammate and you as a witch or wizard. And that's not exactly great. Mewok got some changes as well. Like I said, I'll have a rundown of all the translation changes in the comment down below that I've pinned, because usually these are just nonsense words like picking up the rock. It has been improved to connect smoothly with other techniques. I think it has a skill with rock in it that was changed. And Ranger does less damage on horseback now, 25% less damage on the torn arrow or tearing arrow, I believe is what they're trying to talk about there. Their skill window was also changed, so it's a little bit different in terms of UI. The functionality is the same. I did manage to figure out that you get 2 free slots or loadouts for free. As far as I can tell, they should be free, and you can more than likely buy more on the cash shop once this thing comes through, so you can have more loadouts if you want. I don't know why you would need more than 2, but again, that's a thing that they're doing. They've made it a little bit better. As you can see the information about the skill on the left side here instead of having to hover over it. That's very good. And for the most part, everything else has stayed the same. Again, I still don't like that it's a full screen skill window, but it seems like they're going to stick with full screen, so that's where we are right now. And finally, the Colossus Ring, which was previously known as the Merchant Ring. This is a ring kind of like the compass and the map piece, where it's very, very rare to find. You need to do a bunch of trading just to even find the pieces to get it, and it's heavy RNG. But the old Ring of Merchant, which I believe no one ever had, would give you, I think, 10% more bid chance to win your bid. Again, of course, bidding is not a thing anymore, so Central Market was put in place about 1.5 years ago. And finally, they realized we should probably do something about this ring in the file, and let's revamp it and make it so that now you have a fee reduction instead, so 5% fee reduction. So if you sell a lot of things, you're going to be making about 5% more money back when you have this ring. Of course, to get here, it's going to be a long road, guys, but if you do a lot of market transactions, it might be worth it in the long run. And I'm just going to hover down here, scroll down here really quickly just to make sure. I think there was one more thing. Right, the simple cron meal and the energized cron meal have some changes. Basically, the energized cron meal is for knowledge, simple cron meal is for XP, and basically a PvE kind of meal. But most people use exquisite, or seafood obviously is the life skill food. They don't really use energized very much, or they'll just use simple if they're trying to level up an alt or something. So now they've combined energized and simple cron meal into one cron meal. So there you have it. It does everything, which might be nice because as far as I know, the energized cron meal monster attack damage was never fixed. It wasn't ever applied. So hopefully this new meal actually works like it says it does. And I think that's it. Yeah, not much else to talk about. There is a seasons guide coming for you guys. I'm working on that. I've basically done everything. I've finished the battle pass on my EU account, so pretty much done with that. So I'm just recording a couple more things to kind of show you guys how to progress through the season servers, and hopefully if Cacao is nice, I may have some season passes to give away in that season guide, so stay tuned for that. As always, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.